designing the concept. One of the things that came out of the early development sessions was they said, well, how can you tell them apart? And we're like, the weapons, duh. They said, no, can you come up with something that helps tell the turtles apart a little bit more, especially if you're talking about a cartoon show or toys. So Pete came up with the idea, you know, why don't we give them different colored bandanas? Michelangelo, orange, silly. Leonardo, the blue color, kind of regal, leaderly type. Raphael, we kept the original red, kind of berserker red color. And then Donatello is kind of, his weapon is a bow staff, and it's kind of a monk-like weapon, so this purple Zen sort of color was our selection for Donatello. But that's where the different colored bandanas came out of the toys in the early cartoons. So the toys started selling, the cartoons started being watched by a lot of you people. I'm going to do it again. It's all your fault. Thank you. You guys started watching all those cartoons and buying those toys. And it was always funny that I remember back in the early days when we used to do signings, when the cartoon show first came out, a lot of you people were much younger then, 5, 6, and we'd do these signings and would have a very enthusiastic young person, maybe one of you guys, getting an autograph, and you'd always see this disgruntled parent behind him because the parent's giving us this look like, do you know how many Christmas Eves I stayed up putting that stupid turtle sewer playset, or trying to keep that blimp inflated, or the time I went to the restroom in the middle of the night and stepped on Leonardo's sword. But the toys started selling, and then the idea came, said, well, why don't we do a live action movie? And that was pretty scary to us because, you know, comic books, hand-drawn, animation at the time, hand-drawn, the toys, you know, manufactured based on the things, but how do we bring these to life on the big screen? And thank goodness for not only director Steve Barron, who's a fantastic visualist, visionary, and Jim Henson. And Jim Henson's the guy that really made this, made our characters come to life. He built the costumes. These are actually some of the sculpts that were done in his creature shop in England. They hand sculpted out of clay all the turtle figures. I love the little turtle on the end. Pizza, pizza, remember that movie? Making characters like Splinter, who was, you know, they were still doing a lot of puppeteer work at that time, bringing Splinter to life. And actually, a lot of the technology that was used in the first movie was literally created to bring the characters to life. You see the puppeteer in this picture. That's me talking to Jim Henson on set for the movie. With the puppeteer, you see literally he's got these sensors that would sort of read his lip movements to make the mouth work, and then he operated the eyes and other expressions like a puppeteer would. And man, it worked. I still think, look, you know, I love all the turtle movies, I love all the cartoons, but the first turtle movie to me is the ultimate and will always be my favorite turtle, you know, entertainment project ever. It was fantastic. We were very fortunate. We're very fortunate to have, like, one of the scenes I showed you in the Raphael one-shot that had Casey Jones and Raphael fighting in the park. One of the things that Steve Barron did is he brought a lot of the images from the original black and white comic books that Peter and I did to life in the movie, including that scene in the park that we did. And Elias Koteas, to me, is and always will be the ultimate Casey Jones. Dude, I mean, he was so nervous. I met him on set, he was like, so nervous to meet us, as he said, I hope I'm doing a good job bringing your character to life. And, you know, Pete and I were just blown away. He was perfect. And I think of Casey Jones, I think of two things. I think of Elias Koteas for the visual look. And did you guys ever see a movie called Big Trouble in Little China?
Oh, yeah.
Love that movie. Turtles, Casey came out before that. I think it was 85. In 86, Big Trouble in Little China came out. And I thought Jack Burton was just the perfect Casey Jones. So every time I write Casey, even to this day, I always think, what would Jack Burton do? So it's a little inside tomfoolery. Any of you guys watching the new Nickelodeon show?
Yeah.
Yay! I love this show. This show was a great reboot. It's happened 4 years, almost 5 years ago now. Ciro Neely is the executive producer of that show, and Ciro grew up as a comic book fan. His dad owned a pizza parlor. He lived in Philadelphia. So he grew up eating pizza, reading turtle comic books, and he could not be the more perfect person to have brought the turtles back to life in this series. I love just even things like when he re-envisioned Casey, he put Eastman on the hockey stick and layered on the pads and that kind of stuff. But the most important character in all the Turtles animated show, Ice Cream Kitty. You guys know Ice Cream Kitty?
Oh, yeah.
I do the voice of Ice Cream Kitty. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, yes. It was a really funny thing. Courtney and I, my wife and I, were at a Comic-Con when they were talking about new characters that were going to be developing for the series. And Ciro had told me, he said, I want you to do a voice of maybe a really cool good guy, or a really bad guy, or something, and they were showing these slides, and they put up this picture of Ice Cream Kitty, which was inspired by the Michelangelo one-shot we did many years ago, and I was like, I want to be Ice Cream Kitty, and they were like, no, that's stupid, we'll find something else for you to do. And I said, no, I want to be Ice Cream Kitty. I want to be able to go to a comic book convention and wear a shirt that says, I am Ice Cream Kitty, and make my poor wife wear one that says, I'm with Ice Cream Kitty. And, but Ice Cream Kitty's gotten really popular. I gotta get somebody to make me an Ice Cream Kitty stuffed toy. Out of all the new Turtle entertainment things, the Turtles started in their relaunch, and probably 5 years ago, Nickelodeon brought the Turtles back to life in the cartoon show, and IDW, a good friend of mine, Ted Adams, owns IDW, and they got the license to do the new Turtle comic books. He called me and invited me to come back, and he said, hey, do you want to work on the Turtles again? I'm like, why, yes, I love the Turtles. And what's so cool is I get to work with Tom Walsh, who's the head writer, who's fantastic, who brings all those stories to life. All these new artists we get to work on, that I get to work with, you know, I love them and I also hate them because they draw better than I do. They draw Turtles better than I do. But we're able to do things in the new Turtles IDW universe, like bringing back old characters that you might remember from, like Turtles #8, I created a character called Burnett, who was this time-traveling sorcerer's apprentice. And I brought her back as Burnett in this series, but I got to model her after my wife. She's awesome. But this is one of the new graphic novels I've done for them. I just finished cover of 68. So the Turtles books are still selling and you guys are still buying them. And if you look at, some fans like the cartoon show because it's kind of a little bit younger audience, but there's some really weird stuff in there. And some of you that want to find the heart and soul like we did in the original black and white comic books, the IDW comics are edgy and they got some nice tonality to them, much like the original black and white series. It's the closest that I think we can come to the original comics without having Peter back on board. This is some little behind the scenes of how I work. I get to draw all the covers. Like I said, I just finished the cover of 64 before we came here. And this is, I usually do a blue line pencil first, and then with that I translate it into final ink drawing. And it's fun to show this stuff. You get to see the work in its rawest form. One of my favorite artists that I worked with over the years was a guy named Simon Bisley. I don't know if you know who Simon is. I think he did a show in Detroit or something. I know some of you guys that have come by and had Simon signatures. He's crazy. I love him, this crazy British guy. But I love that he brings a sort of nice manic energy. And so this was something that I penciled that Simon finished. And then I have another piece. And this was done for the 30th anniversary of the Turtles. And this was really cool. Was this issue 50? I think this was issue 50. Yeah. This was issue 50. And you guys know a director named Robert Rodriguez? In Sin City and Spy Kids and all that. A lot of people don't know that Robert is a fantastic artist as well. And so we got to be friends over the years. And so I invited him. I said, hey, you've never done a comic book cover. Why don't you do a comic book cover with me? So I penciled it. Robert inked it. My friend Tony colored it. So it's a neat sort of behind the scenes. Not a lot of people know. They see Rodriguez on them and they don't know it's like that Rodriguez. No, it's fun. Was it last year? Earlier this year, we teamed up with a lesser known character, Batman. Have you heard of Batman? This was the craziest and the most coolest book I worked on. Well, besides, we did a Ghostbusters crossover a couple years ago, which was really fantastic. I grew up as a huge fan of Ghostbusters. And then the idea kicked around that we said, well, wouldn't it be great to team up with a real kind of mainstream superhero? And Batman came up, and I'm like, DC will never go for it. Fortunately, they did, and James Tynion, who wrote it, did just a fantastic job of bringing all the coolest elements of Batman's universe and all the coolest elements of the Turtle universe into this one story. And then the fantastic Freddie Williams, who did the artwork. It was mind-blowing. I still remember working on those covers and going, look, I'm drawing, Batman fighting Shredder. I used to do that as like a con drawing back in the days. I never thought I'd actually do it. It'd be printed on the cover. That was fantastic. This was my joke at the end. I said, if we get to do another series, why don't we have one of the Turtles dress up as Robin? And DC said, that'd be fun though, wouldn't it? I'm on the contract with IDW. Besides all the Turtle work I do with them, I co-plot, write, I do graphic novels, I get to work with all these incredible artists, but IDW wants me to do some more original properties, and this is one of the exciting new properties I came out with this year called Fistful of Blood. If you like zombies and you like vampires and you like interplanetary bounty hunters, lots of mayhem and lots of silliness and lots of fun. Here's some of the pages from it. But this came out in a trade paperback in April of this year. It's worth checking out if you like that kind of stuff, especially for Halloween. Next project I'm working on right now is called Los Angeles. I don't know if you guys ever saw a movie called The Warriors. Walter Hill did this great movie, I think it was 1987. I was a huge fan of that, and I kind of came up with this idea of doing something similar but set in a post-apocalyptic Los Angeles setting. And so this is my project now, I'm working on it. I was hoping to get the first issue out by the end of this year, but it's probably going to be the first of next year. But it's fun, that's something to check out. And I've got some other new stuff coming that if you guys like things that I draw, then look for them. Turtles movie, you guys like the new Turtles movie that came out this year? You can talk smack about Michael Bay later. But no, actually, I enjoyed it. I did a bunch of consulting on the first movie and some on this movie, but what I liked about the movie came out this year was, the coolest part was these two guys. The original bad guys from the early cartoon show, Bebop and Rocksteady, were brought to life on the big screen, and I thought they did a great job. In fact, it was funny that our son Shane is a huge fan of Sheamus, the wrestler, and he was more excited that Sheamus was going to be in the movie than that I created the Turtles. Hey, my dad made the Turtles. Oh, and Sheamus is going to be in the movie. But no, we got to meet Sheamus, and he's just an awesome guy. And the movie was fun. I hope you got a kick out of it. So, what's this one? Oh yeah, we put this series out. If you haven't seen it, it's worth checking out. Around the time that the movie's coming out, we did a series called Bebop and Rocksteady Destroy Everything. And they actually do destroy everything. But this was the cover I did for that series, and it's a really fun book. We always do, like, besides all the material that's in the ongoing series storyline, we always do these one-offs, like featuring one of the different characters, and this was a really fun one to do. We started a new series titled this year. First issue came out in August. Because the ongoing IDW storyline is continuing stories from issue to issue, there was always so many other stories we wanted to sort of tell, so we came up with a new concept, kind of like the original Tales of the Mutant Ninja Turtles that Peter and I did. It's called Turtles Universe, and so those don't run in continuity. They're sort of a little to the left, a little to the right, and this is the cover I did. I always love it when I can talk IDW and let me do a wraparound cover, because then I can fit, like this one, every single turtle character I can fit on a cover I try to put into this piece. And the coolest thing about it is I got to do a backup story. It runs 4 pages each for the first 5 issues with my friend Bill Sienkiewicz. It's called Inside Out, and if you like Bill's work and you like Turtles, this is kind of a real crazy, loony, exciting story that is worth a look-see. So get a chance to check that out. Check it out. Cool. A couple of new things we have coming out. I love the toys. If you saw my home studio, it's like any of these toy booths you see at the show. It's just toys like everywhere. And I've corrupted my wife completely because she's got Walking Dead toys and Turtle toys. All her studio is just as bad as mine is these days. But I was invited by this company called 30 to do my own version of, say, a next generation of the Turtles, what they might look like, changed up a few things. And so this is a very special edition that is coming out through Eastman Studios. If you go to KevinEastmanStudios.com, it's our own website that tells you guys not only where we're going, where we're going to be signing, what kind of events we're doing, any behind-the-scenes stuff, and lots of photos and stuff that a lot of fans don't get to see out there. But this line is coming out, I think, early next year, and that's it. That's right. We did the Turtles Batman crossover, which was really exciting, and then it was successful enough, again, all your fault, you bought all those copies, so they wanted us to do a Turtles Batman animated crossover. This is the cover. I don't think it's been seen yet, but I did for that, which is coming out soon. And then Christmas, who doesn't love Christmas? I love Christmas. My favorite Christmas movie of all time is Toy Story. And so for 65, our Christmas issue, I got to recreate, that whole scene of looking in the toy store window, and even got a BB gun in there. So this is the Christmas cover that nobody's seen yet, except for you guys now. So. And there's me, working in my studio. Last slide. Woo! That's it. So that's a little... Thank you. So yeah, that's a little bit of behind the scenes, some upcoming stuff, cool stuff, some stuff you might know, some stuff you didn't. I hope you found it interesting. And if anybody has any questions, I think we've got a little bit of time, maybe, do we? 42 seconds. We have 42 seconds. No. 10 minutes. There's a microphone up here if anybody has any questions, or, yeah, come on up.